I'm really excited to welcome our next two guests here. We have Casey. Hello, Casey.
It's good to see you again, Randall. Great to be here. So excited.
I know. And then we also have Alex joining us. Hello, Alex.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here.
Casey, welcome. Alex, welcome. I'm super excited to have you both here. Now, before we get into the fun part, now this part of the stream is titled Hacking Lessons from Movies and Other Questionable Sources. Now, Alex, maybe you could quickly describe what are we going to be doing here, and then we'll get into the fun stuff.
Okay, so put me on the spot. I'm so excited to do this, though. So we'll be going through some different hacking scenes and talking about what we think about them of different movies. And I'm really excited about some of the movies that we're going to talk about and just our thoughts on it in general. And of course, we want to hear the audiences as well.
That's right. If you are watching the stream right now, I know there's a bunch of you because I see you in the stats sitting there quietly behind your keyboards. Feel free to type. As send us messages. I will force Casey and Alex to answer them. And we're going to be going through movie clips. So if you have opinions, this is your chance to become internet famous. We will put your name and your comment on the screen. All right. As a matter of fact, we have one right here. Best toppings on pizza. Alex, go.
Pepperoni always.
Casey.
I like fish. Actually, that's a total lie. I mean, anchovies I still love, but I don't know. You know what? I grew up on the East Coast.
We got to get rid of Casey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I grew up on the East Coast. Hang on, you got to think about it. Buffalo chicken pizza is a thing in some parts of the East Coast, and I think it needs some love. I'm going to speak up for that.
All right, fine. Well, I have to agree. I have to agree with Alex. Pepperonis is the best. It's not even a question. And also, best type of pizza, Chicago style, deep dish.
Yes.
I'm going to rep Chicago right now. They nailed it. Everything else, not nearly as good. So that's the final word on the stream.
Wait a minute. Do you follow the cube rule of food?
What is that?
What's that?
Okay, so the cube rule of food is like which portions of the food are surrounded by the thing that holds the food when you eat it. And so like pizza and an open-faced sandwich are the same thing because it's just one thing on the bottom and then, the bread is on the bottom and stuff is stacked on top. But when you go Chicago style and the bread comes up the sides to contain it, it becomes a bread bowl soup, right? It's no longer pizza, it's a bread bowl soup.
This is some standard East Coasters crapping all over Chicago style pizza. We will not tolerate it on this stream. Chicago pizza is the best.
It really is.
And everyone in the viewers, or all of our viewers right now, commenting about New York style pizza. No, I'm sorry, you are wrong. But that's neither here nor there. We have one other question, silly question we'll get into. What is your favorite programming language, and why is it Java? Casey, you kick us off with this one.
I'm going to embarrass myself and tell you it's not Java. I actually have written so much PHP. I told you I was going to embarrass myself. I've written enough PHP to embarrass myself here is what it's going to come down to. It is not my favorite. I do a lot more Node and Go now.
That's a great answer. All right, Alex, how about you?
I think I'm more familiar with Python, but I have worked with Java in school, but that was during data structures and algorithms. So I think my perspective is coming from a little bit of trauma dealing with DSA. So
I'm just going to say Python for the win myself. So I agree with you 100%. All right. Now,
is it Potato Guy who was really, I think, on screen cheering for PHP? It exists. I mean, it runs so much. Yeah.
We got a lot of PHP fans on the stream right now. I don't know what's going on, but this is great. Welcome PHP community. So anyways, let's get into the fun stuff. Now, the idea behind the stream, which you both came up with, I thought was absolutely brilliant, which is, hey, there's a lot of fun hacking scenes in a lot of different movies. What if we watch a few and do the whole mystery Science Theater 3000 thing and analyze these things and talk about it? So what do you think? Should we pick a scene and get started here?
Yes.
We should definitely jump in. What we're going to do, I think, is jump in with a couple of ringers. Because you've been at this for a few hours now already, right?
Only a little. I mean, only 23 hours. So not that long.
We're just getting warmed up. But I will say, so we've got a screen share ready to go. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to share audio, it looks like. So what we're going to have to do is, this is Mystery Science Theater 3000, where we have to narrate what's going on screen because the audience will not be able to hear the dialogue. So it'll be fun.
No worries. Let me add this in. There we go.
All righty. So we're starting. Oh, yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, take it away. It's all yours.
Yeah. So we're starting here because Alex tweeted saying, hey, give me suggestions for movies and things. And Mr. Robot came up and I was not familiar with it. But this is the scene. And this character is in a hospital. The audio was not coming through, right?
No.
Right. So he's in a hospital. The character is in a hospital criticizing this person who's responsible for IT and security, complaining that the guy gets no funding. He's hired by people who are idiots, he says, and uses a whole bunch of Windows 98. And so I don't know why he's in a hospital. I'd love for the audience to share more. But it's a really, it's laying out this really old school approach to security in how it works. And then as we see, here he is changing test results and one thing after another. And you're like, well, how does this work? Obviously. And the reason I wanted to start here is that one of the things that is so true about this, and this is why sort of actually looking at movies and TV shows and all the rest, is that actually it's maybe more true than it seems, even though so much of it is so damn ridiculous. But we have seen so many ransomware attacks on hospitals because of exactly what is described in that scene in terms of some very old or antiquated approaches to security and not up-to-date software. And probably you're familiar with when they do have software that they manage a lot of vulnerabilities in the source and one thing after another, because they're just not investing in those things, because we should talk more about why and how, but that's not part of it. Is like, and so, this is really affecting care. People are getting details leaked, but also there's a claim that there's a death caused by these hacks. So this stuff is really, shall I say, deadly serious. But when you see it in a movie dramatized like that, I think what it puts us in the position of is being heroes to the screen. So like that's sort of a premise like this. We're going to laugh about a lot of stuff here, but the reality is that, when you fix bugs, you are a hero. You could be saving a life. When you fix these vulnerabilities, you really are a hero. And I think that's meaningful.
Now, one of the things I'm really curious about, going back to that scene, is like he's in the hospital software editing test results. I think one of the questions people have always when they're watching scenes from movies is like, hey, is this realistic? Right? So what do you think, first of all? Is it realistic? And audience, feel free to chime in too. Thank you.
Well, so the way they're doing it, they don't show the hack. They don't show how he got in. So is it realistic? It's actually plausible, I think.
I agree. I totally agree. Especially like, I don't know about you all, but the last time I went to the doctor's, the doctor walked into the room, they do the little tap on your knee test or whatever. They have a computer that's just unlocked sitting there, and all of your charts and stuff are in there. And then afterwards they go in and sort of put in some numbers and things. They put in your blood pressure and all these things. And I could sort of see this. It looks pretty realistic to me. Yeah. So, this is scary. People have accidentally emailed me the wrong medical records. This isn't just software failures. There's so many levels of human failures that are in this as well. Interesting stuff. I want to jump forward too, though, because Alex, you said you wanted to talk about this movie a little bit, but there's one relatively in a movie full of some really bad hacking. There's this one scene that sort of kicks off like this is going to be a big movie. Like things are going to blow up. This is not going to be small. And I don't know why all hacking depictions have to be so ridiculous on screen, with like the stuff moving around. But obviously this stuff is cool.
Sorry. Keep going.
I was going to say, I love it in hacking movies when you see like all the stoplights change and everyone's crashing. It's just so exciting. So action movie-esque,
Yeah, I was gonna say that I was going to say this from Mr. Robot, but fun fact, this was like Mr. Robot was one of the TV shows that actually made me want to like study cybersecurity in college, even though I didn't realize college doesn't teach you hacking until later. But yeah, that was one of the I need more context from that previous scene, but I will say this current movie right here, I didn't know this was the actual thing that happened, that hacker made.
Well, hang on. Don't give it away. Don't give it away yet. Don't give it away yet, because the scene is told. Somebody put on screen that it was stolen from hackers, which I think they did. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. But wait a minute. Raise your hand for hackers if we have to be talking about that in a moment. I want to hear from the audience if we end this segment and we don't talk about hackers, whose heart is broken. But what I realized was that scene from that movie is totally stolen from the Italian Job as well. Like so many movies have like plot points dependent on hacking streetlights. And so here we are in LA. Earlier we were in, I think, Washington, DC. This hacker setup. I mean, is this? Oh, Are these CRTs or LCDs at the time?
I think those are CRTs. They look pretty wide, I think.
Yeah, I think this movie is at 2003. Yeah.
Look at how young Seth Green is there.
I mean, it was 20 years ago for everybody there. So this is apparently the place in LA where they manage, like, I love the idea that there's actually a network control for the streetlights that is as clean and well maintained as this. My fear is that actually it's just not that well maintained. It's a worse conditions than all this, with maybe not the heads up displays. But yeah, so Italian Job, aspects of the plot, their big hacking demo is about hacking streetlights. And the cool thing is, Alex, as you were saying, like, this is real.
Yes.
Yeah. And so reported in 2006, but it had been happening before that. Like, this is not science fiction. This is totally real. How these things are happening. And, this is actually super easy, apparently. So this is 2017 report on how easy it is. But what I love is like the security holes, unencrypted radio signals, factory default usernames and passwords, and debugging that is easy to attack, debugging port that's easy to attack. Basically a backdoor, a built-in backdoor. So 3 sins of software that really should never exist. Obviously, where I come from, BluBracket, we're really big on trying to find passwords and secrets in code, and so we try to help this. But these are things that I think all of us know, this is not how you do it, and yet this shipped, and it continued to be a problem for a lot of years. Maybe even now, it's still a problem.
Absolutely, and I see this a lot. Like, I remember seeing a thread on, I think it was Hacker News a couple months ago, and someone showing how easy it is to go and when there's construction zones. And they have those big like LED style boards out on the freeway, how easy it is to go change the messages on those. I see those things change here in the Bay Area where I live literally all the time. So it can't be that difficult,
So it's an unencrypted, it used to be for these signs, an unencrypted wireless infrared keyboard to change it. So yeah, it was really, really weak, which is, like, not just factory default, not just debugging port. Like, it was designed with no understanding of how it could get misused. And I love that you pointed out that street signs and construction signs. I want to point out just one of those 3 issues. Like, the military drones are flying around, sending out unencrypted video around the world that is being intercepted by people. So it's not even that there were 3 separate failures. Like, there's just one. They didn't even bother to secure it at all. And so these are definitely real things.
Another just fun thing, but one of my friends I met him at my very first like real programming job ever back in Los Angeles, is Sammy Kamkar, who's the author of the MySpace worm, like a pretty well-known hacker. And he built this project a couple of years ago, which I think is super clever. It takes over drones flying in the air by basically like binding to their Wi-Fi ports and sending them all the relevant API commands to control them. And it's just super fascinating. There's so many cool things you can actually do in the real world. And I think part of the reason why is, a lot of things just aren't very secure by design. They're designed for other purposes. And so if you can find ways to work around it, it's just so fun and exciting, I think.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about the Osi layers, and I bring this up because we assume that there's going to be transport security and that's enough. And oftentimes it isn't there and it isn't enough. And then once you get in, there's so many movies we can talk about that with like insider threats, or trusted networks and the things that you can get into. Like, that's totally worth digging into. But I know Alex has been super excited to talk about Ocean's 8. So Alex, you're going to have to narrate the next scene because obviously I put the wrong year on the slide.
No, wow, biggie.
Totally messed up on that one, but you got to talk us through this.
Okay, there's this scene. Oh, is this the? Okay, sorry. There's this scene where Rihanna is playing the hacker and she's gotten access to the cameras. Let's keep going. This is when she's a little more into it, recruited. Oh yeah, her name is 8-Ball in the scene. I guess her hacker name, even though her sister comes on later in the movie.
9-Ball. It's actually 9-Ball.
Oh, 9-Ball. Yeah. She actually is like says like her sister says her actual name later on, so I don't know what that was about.
I was so confused though because she also says her name is 8-Ball. Like the answer to what's your real name is 8-Ball. Like
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like it didn't really matter because she wasn't going to give her real name until her sister revealed it later on. Sorry, let's keep talking about the scene.
They spent a lot of time talking about the name.
Yes. Yes. and she's gotten access to some of the cameras, and the point of them getting access is so they can manipulate some of the footage. But honestly, like, this is a really long scene. Sorry. Let's keep going.
So
yes, the lights. There we go. This is the part where I was like, this doesn't make sense to me, because are the lights connected to the network and she's able to turn it off through the computer? Because it looks like a really old loft. I don't know if she has Google lights or something like that. I don't understand how she's turning the lights on.
Maybe that old building is all running Philips Hue everywhere. That's what it must be. It's an ad sponsored by Philips Hue. I love that though. I think it also, was she shutting down the power to the entire neighborhood? I could briefly see on that laptop display a little bit there.
That's what I was trying. Like, were they saying that the power was being shut off for the whole building, the neighborhood, whatever? Was it just the lights? Like, Alex, your point there is, and so actually, Rihanna is saying, like, your footprint is you're making too much of a footprint in the world.
Oh yes, sorry, I want to jump in on that. Yes, she's talking about. She's like, your digital footprint. You got to clean up because my little sister could hack you as well. And I remember what her little sister did, but obviously it was unethical or illegal or whatever. They were family of doing unethical things. That's not the point. So the point is, she's talking about her digital footprint. And I guess maybe she's just leaving a really huge trail. I don't know. They don't really get into any more detail other than that. But also, I was really focused on the light scene because I was like, how is she turning all these lights off?
Let's admit, hacking is not central to this movie, but it does get us past a few plot points.
Yes.
I love this movie, by the way. I thought it was super fun. I was like excited the entire time I was watching it. But after looking at the scene, I have to say, I'm going to go with somewhat realistic. I'm going to assume they're running Philips Hue everywhere on the entire block, and that this is a legit hack. So that's what I choose to believe. I don't know about you all, but that's my
somebody commented Zigbee or Z-Wave, which is, yes, like that's got not very good security story in some of these cases, but yeah, like there's ways this is true. What's odd is, do they really have remote control over those lights in the building, or is she turning off the power to the neighborhood? That a lot of it hinges on that.
Ooh, here's another another attack vector is if she'd be hacking the hub like the Samsung Smart Things or Home Assistant. That's another great possibility.
Great point. Is there another scene? Oh, there we go. Oh, yes, the scene where she's, I think she sends like a phishing email or something. She's about to. Spear phishing,
clickbait attack.
This is her doing research on who to target right now.
Also, can we just agree that, like, if you're not a cool hacker unless you're wearing glasses while you're doing the hacking, like that's a thing, right? Like that's real, I feel like.
Of course it is, don't you? Where are yours? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, and she's doing research on stuff that he likes, and then it's something he's obsessed with, dogs or whatever.
Wheaton Terriers.
Yes, the Wheaton Terriers. He's obsessed with that. So she's like making a graphic or whatever that I don't want to talk too fast as she's doing it. Oh, there he goes, his dogs on his desk.
Now we've shifted to his perspective.
Is she going to hack the dogs in order to get to him? In a way, yes. yes, exactly.
Also, like, I feel like this is giving too much personal information, but this would totally work on me. Like, I love dogs. If anyone sends me dog stuff, I'm almost always clicking it from whatever account I'm on. So, that is
that moment where he like stretches his finger before clicking the mouse.
This scene, his face.
All of us, if we're human, there's something that's going to motivate us. We're here because we're passionate about things, and when somebody recognizes that passion, when we feel seen, like I want to figure out what that is. I want to connect with that, and I am at risk of clicking on stuff. Like it's hard to be human and secure.
Totally.
He's just having a wonderful day, not knowing that she's gotten access to his system after he's seen these beautiful Wheaton Terriers.
Yeah. Now this right here, this part, the whole like once you walk away, the screen turns back on. That to me, okay, getting into a little bit of suspicious, potentially unrealistic technology. What do y'all think?
Yeah, that was. Again, like this movie is a fabulous movie, not because it shows the hacking in perfect detail, but I think it integrates it reasonably well. But like so many movies, it makes it a little bit too obvious. I will say I like that it didn't go down the path of turning everything 3D. Like there's so many movies that are just stupid about the hacking interface, and this one, it's not so bad. But they had to do a little bit more for screen magic.
Yes.
Also, Rihanna's just so cool. She makes hacking look so much fun. So, like, mad props for that, right?
You know, that's the thing about this movie, because I was rewatching it ahead of this conversation, and I was like, the thing that's fabulous about this movie is incredibly competent people doing a job well. Like we're enjoying watching. Like so many movies are about things going wrong or but this is just straightforward. Incredibly competent people coming together to do a job and do it well. And how wonderful is that?
And not only that, I would think it's like not just talking about how that people are hacking through computers, but like your social skills, like their social skills were so important throughout the movie, and that's so obviously vital to social engineering. So it's like people are thinking like, man, I gotta be like this super hacker. They're just they're charismatic. A lot of them are very charismatic throughout the movie. And it's just simple stuff like the way you talk or the way you act and how you present yourself, and people are easily manipulated.
Yeah. I think the fact that this is they come together as a team, they operate as a team. It's really enjoyable to watch that. I will say the Rihanna's awesome. The Kate Blanchett character who knows everything about fashion and entertain, like there's an aspect of that is because it's so foreign to me. I'm like, how do you know all that stuff? And then I realize, the Rihanna character knows every bit as much about her area of expertise. And, that's what's great to see.
Oh, sorry. One more thing. Do y'all remember the scene where they were doing like a 3D print of the necklace?
My gosh, yes,
I was like, that scene to me was also very fascinating.
Yeah,
totally agree. Also, that part I thought was super realistic. Like I realized we don't have the clip, but oh my gosh, like doing the scans and getting the exact like CAD files and like uploading those and doing the whole thing, totally amazing. So yeah.
So you can see as I jump to some others, we've got to go. Actually, we're gonna go to War Games, just because this is fun. Now we're getting to 1983, and I had to put this in here because I think this actually is perhaps one of the most realistic things then and now, and so this kid, Matthew Broderick, there, right?
Yep.
He gets sent to the principal's office, and what does he do? Well, he gets back into the back area where the computer was, and this was a time when people didn't have computers on every desk. And the thing he does is he finds the password. And so here he is looking at where they write down the password. And so that thing about passwords, are only as secure as where you write them down or store them. And so that's obviously something that we know better about, but so oftentimes it just ends up in code one place after another. And this movie from '83 is completely awesome. I have to show it again though, or I have to show another clip though, which is not this one, although that is kind of funny. We gotta take a look at the next clip because it's the first instance of chat ops. Like this is chat ops, and you gotta kind of love it. It also shows weak, backdoors, weak passwords, weak authentication systems, and people who don't disable inactive accounts. Professor Falcon here, his account had been left active after he hadn't been using it forever.
Very realistic. It's weird how this movie was almost 40 years old, but all of the things they're showing in here, like this could happen anytime now. Like feels like,
Yeah,
like,
there's
not
actually
realistic at all.
It is fun in that way. All right. We have to close on Hackers, though.
Mm-hmm.
Hackers, definitely a true classic. My personal favorite movie of all time, by the way.
It's there. Like it is more perfect. And there's so many hacking movies that came out in like 95, 96. Who remembers The Net? And like, which is actually not bad. In The Net, they invented pizza, online pizza food ordering and delivery. Voice multi-user voice chat, and booking flights and actually selecting your seat in the computer in 95 on The Net. So some interesting things that are all real now, but were science fiction at the time that they did it. But Hackers is awesome. Hackers has a special place.
Yes.
Randall, you want to try and you remember this scene?
Absolutely. So this is towards the end of the movie. All the hackers. Oh, yeah.
You sure it's the end of the movie?
Oh, is it? Maybe not, but this is when they're hacking the Gibson, right? Or is this in the beginning when they're doing the acid burn thing?
This is yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. So this is towards the beginning of the movie. This is when our protagonist ends up meeting Angelina Jolie, right? Like through the phone system. So he's attempting to hack into a TV station to play a movie that he wants to see on TV using an old dial-up connection, of course. Plus, also notice he's wearing sunglasses, which means he's doing actual hacking work. We have to call that out.
A little bit of social engineering. Obviously, he's a real hacker.
talking to the phone company person on the phone, trying to get some information out of them, saying, oh yeah, I have a report due tomorrow. It's really important. Mr. Kawasaki or whatever, like he's going to be so mad at me. I got to get in there. And so the guy,
you remember it well. You remember it really well.
The person doesn't know that much about what's happening and is taking a look and saying, oh yeah, let me read you the number off the modem here. And that's the key into the system. So our protagonist has what he wants, typing the key in there. And then here we go. He's using telekinesis maybe?
He's just typing that fast. He's typing with his, actually, he didn't have his sunglasses on in that last cut.
You're right. He took the sunglasses off to do the telekinesis. Now they're back on though. Did you see that?
Right. Yeah.
They're flying on and off just at will here. That's an important part of the movie. Got a serious face on. He's playing the show he wants to see. And because this is old school, it's actually taking VHS tapes out of some system and putting them into a player, I presume. Is that what we're going to see? Yep. I think that's it.
So actually, cool. when we look at the streetlight things, those are true SCADA. System control access. I don't remember what SCADA stands for right now, but like industrial control systems, those are SCADA. Do we consider these SCADA as well or not?
I don't know, but honestly, this is so much cooler than digital stuff that we have today. Like I think we can all agree on that. How cool it'd be to have a robot arm putting DVDs and VHS tapes in and out of machines, like when you're programming stuff. I think that's just the coolest.
I bet you there's somebody on the stream that used to have like a big robot tape library that we're doing backups. Like this is the thing.
Yeah. Now hold on. Something interesting's happening. This is Angelina Jolie's character, who's also a hacker, who has also penetrated the TV systems, who's in there, and they're like, hey, you're also hacking this? This is my TV station. I'm the hacker in charge of this domain. I can do whatever I want. And so they're talking to each other through text in the terminal, which is somewhat realistic. Maybe they're using a shared GNU screen session or TMUX session, and they're both in the same terminal at the same time, typing to each other. That is feasible, potentially.
It would have been a little bit weird to do that at the time. Like, well, I mean, TMUX, I was actually thinking like it's graphics. So I was thinking like sending X windows over a modem. That would have been a painful.
A little less realistic with the graphics for sure. Yeah. The robots fighting each other, trying to grab the VHS tapes, arguing over what show they're going to play next. Also, maybe a little bit suspect, but still such a cool scene, such a cool movie in general, I think.
Yeah.
And then one of the most iconic lines ever in a hacker movie. Mess with the best, die like the rest. Just so cool. I'm getting so excited right now just watching that. You are terminated, ban.
Oh, should have bleeped that. We don't know who that is. We were talking. We know who it is because we've seen it, but the in the movie continuity, we actually don't know who that is yet.
Yep.
We got to. Let's see.
We do learn eventually that is Angelina Jolie's character, who is a complete badass.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing, super cool hacker and video gamer in the show too.
Yes. So we can't hear it now, but we're talking about Zero Cool, a hack in this guy's childhood when he was 11 years old. If the movie says it's 1988, and the thing that I love about this is it actually connects to the 1988 Morris worm, which spread across the internet. I think it was the first worm. There's so many homages to real history when they talk about hacking the Gibson. There's some great stuff going on, but the Morris worm of 1988 was one of the first national scale hacking incidents. It took down thousands of machines at universities and other things that were connected to the internet in 1988. And when I say 1,000, it may have been like 1,100.
Also, amazingly, one of our viewers says, I worked for the Sci-Fi Channel when this movie came out. We were launching their first website. The whole team went to see it in the theater. I'm so jealous of that. That is so incredibly cool.
This is such a fun movie. Of course, we get the movie clips because I had to get these clips somewhere. But
it's extremely fun.
The part that I love about this, when we were talking about modems, this whole scene, they're in a phone booth. Or in a series of phone booths. But the way they're picturing things that are sort of Unixy and Unix file system path that he's talking about, hilarious.
Absolutely. This is a great movie. If you're watching this stream right now, you have not seen this movie, please go watch this movie. Whether you pirate it, whether you get it legally, that's none of our business. But do it. It is amazing and you have to see it. All right. I believe we're at the end of the session time here. This has been so fun though, you all. Now, before you go, I do have a quick question for you, which is you both work at a really cool company called BluBracket. Now, we did not talk about BluBracket at all, which I actually feel a little bad about. I would love to know, what is BluBracket? What do you do? And what each of you do there? And then finally, we're going to need some departing words of wisdom, but we'll get to that in a moment. So Alex, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about BluBracket. Excuse me.
Okay, so I'm Alex. I am a developer advocate intern at BluBracket, where I focus on code security, community, and content creation. But at BluBracket, we really care about making developers the heroes of the story and providing, the best tools and just the best tools to help them improve code security overall and find the risk in their code. Because this is not stuff we teach in school, so we should be providing an environment for our developers to produce the best code possible. And so, my words of wisdom, I'm a college student, so I'll just say try everything. That's my word of wisdom. So, up to you, Casey.
No, that is so awesome. And Alex, the way you pointed out making the developers the heroes of the story, that's what I really love to come back to in these movies. When we recognize the significance of what we're doing, and that we are heroes when we fix bugs, when we solve security things, that excites the heck out of me. BluBracket is all about what's in your code, who has access, and where it's going. What's in your code is specific to secrets, PII, non-inclusive language, and even infrastructure as code risks in your code. And so we automate throughout the CI/CD workflow to help you improve code security with every commit. And we are so excited that we had a chance to be here with you and here to help close off this really exciting session. What are the numbers now? I mean, so many bugs have been fixed.
So our backend system is actually updating right now. So we should be having those shortly. I will hopefully be announcing them in the next 20 minutes or so if the ETL task finishes. But we are almost to the 100,000 mark, I believe, in terms of vulnerabilities fixed. There's over 400, almost 500,000 projects that people have scanned throughout this event, which is absolutely insane. I mean, if you think about the impact that has fixing almost 100,000 vulnerabilities across 500,000 apps, that's a pretty big difference, So I think the community's done an awesome job coming together, fixing stuff. It's very motivating to me personally.
Well, congratulations to you and to Snyk for what I think is a really successful event. So glad that I was able to join, that we were able to join.
Seriously, it's so awesome. I'm so glad I could join and talk about Ocean 8 for it's exciting.
Thanks so much, both of you. Thank you, BluBracket, as well, for sending both of these awesome heroes. And with that, I will let the two of you go, but thank you again from the entire community.
Thank you.
Take care.